We're going to show you how to test the battery, the charger, and the charging port for your Ride-On toys. First of all, we're going to check the charger itself. You got to make sure it's plugged into the wall. Make sure your voltage meter is on the DC setting. You may have to go up to 2 digits wide or 1 digit. I go to 2 digits just to be safe, make sure it's showing all information. So the way you test the charger, you put the red side in the itty-bitty tip. You put the black side to the outside metal shaft, and if you'll notice, it's putting out 15.6 volts. Anywhere between 14 to 16 is a good voltage reading for a 12-volt toy. It's got to be a little bit higher than 12 volts in order to raise that battery level in a decent charge time. Let's test the battery itself. Just color coordinated. Put your red on red, black on black. If you do it backwards, that's perfectly fine. You're going to get a negative voltage reading on the meter though. Looks like I did this one backwards. It's showing me 13.4 volts. That's a good reading. Now we're going to show you how to test the charging port itself. To do that, you have to plug the charger from the wall into the port on the truck. You don't have to show it. Okay, now this is the most important part. You have to disconnect the 2 wires from the battery itself. If you try to test the charging port while these are attached to the battery, you're going to get a false reading of the battery and not the charger through the charging port. Basically, just like checking your battery and your charger, put 1 tip of each lead into the red and black wire you just pulled off the battery, and we're getting roughly 14.6 through the charging port. It's a little bit less than what the charger's putting out, but still plenty enough to raise the battery's voltage. Now, we're going to test the charging port on the toy right next to us. This one has a dual battery setup, 2 batteries instead of 1. This is done just a little bit different on this model. If you have 2 batteries, you have to make sure all 4 wires are unplugged from both batteries, or you will get a false reading of the battery that's still plugged in. Now this battery has hot glue on the terminal. A lot of the times you'll see that on the negative wires. When you get to it, most of the time, you can break the hot glue off by finger, just peeling it off. Worst case scenario, if you can't get it, you can always use some needle nose pliers, or a flathead screwdriver works the same way and it comes off easily. So we'll unplug our last 2 wires from there. Sometimes you might have to bend the terminal up a little bit to get it better. And there we go. Now when testing a dual wire setup, it doesn't matter which ones you test, as long as you test 1 red and 1 black. So I'll try it with this red here in my hand and this black in my other hand. Let's see. Getting roughly 15 volts through the charging port. That's a good voltage reading. Now if you had a 24 volt toy, the voltage output would be roughly 26 to 30 volts.